and gas. I mean, it's got boogers coming out of its nose. Look here. All right, y'all, I'm doing a plank on a 92 Ford F150. You know what the most curious letter in the alphabet is? Y.
Why? Test it.
Oh, lip test it.
Ooh, can't blow. That used to be that. Can you believe that?
Well, hey, y'all, welcome back to RevStoration. Yep, we're back at the old man's graveyard. Yep, we still got the Pontiac, still got the Mustang here. Here's the 1963 Ford Fairlane. The old man has been working really hard on this. I think he's got a lot of front end parts done, and we may even give her a ride here in this episode and see if she steers better out of the ditch than she did last time. Yep, I came in Old Puddin', and Old Puddin's got a new radiator under it, and boy, it's working just fine. But the old man's been busy, even though he hadn't been around all that much, and we hadn't been working all that much down here. I think the old man has purchased a few vehicles. I know he's bought 2 Ford Rangers. One is a milk producer. It's like Little Puddin', got water in the oil, so she may be done for until we can find a little motor for it. He's got one that's actually running pretty good. And then, oh yeah. There's the old man, y'all. Been a long time since we've seen him on the channel. I know y'all are happy to have him back, just as I'm happy to be back here with him. But here's a 1992 Ford F150. We're gonna diagnose. We think we already know. Got a lot of problems, but we got a lot of fixes. Hey y'all, I'm Rev. This is my daddy, also known as the old man. This is my wife, my prime rib, Nikki T. Here on our channel, we enjoy bringing life back to dead things, mostly old Fords. We have many crazy methods that are ours, and we use those crazy methods on rigs that are ours. If you enjoy our crazy shade tree, cussing free, God loving, dad joke telling, tires spinning content, then subscribe. It's free. But either way, welcome to RevStoration. Here's the 1992 Ford F150. She's of the pink flavor, and you don't have to worry. It is not a it's not a Mary Kay. It's not a Mary Kay vehicle, but a little bit of polish. I mean, that's just spit shine right there. A little bit of polish, I believe she'll come back around. She's got a little moss growing on her where she's been sitting. Old man, where'd you purchase it from?
On the other side of Gainesville.
On the other side of Gainesville, Georgia. And I looked at it. He said it'd been sitting a while. And we looked back here at this tag, and the tag is 2021. So that hadn't been that long ago. But the issue is, where he was, he had to have a tag on it or he would have been fined. So he had to keep it registered, even though, look at this red. Now, y'all, that's the color it could be. I mean, it could be a pretty truck. And the paint really ain't bad. It's just oxidized. I mean, that need a little bit of cleanup. It had the window delete, the rear view mirror delete. Here it is. It is the, yep, it's 5.0 flavor. And the old man put him a sign up that says no oil in motor. That's what you do, right? When you're
over here to it, the battery. Because I know how forgetful I may be. I showed it won't turn this thing over with no oil in it.
Yep. Well, tell us what all you have done to it and what we believe we have already figured out. Now, I hadn't been here. The old man's just been playing around with it. And what'd you come up with?
Well, when I bought it, the man said it'd been parked about 8 to 10 years. His daddy bought it brand new. And the title
So been in one family since new.
Yep, and his son drove it some, and he said he parked it. Said it was parked 8 to 10 years. And 2 years ago, he bought a battery. I ain't got the battery. I got the battery out back yonder. But anyway, it's a 2020 battery. He said he started trying to crank it every now and then. He said he never could get it to crank. And on the email, he told me, I told him I wanted to come look at it. He said, well, I tell you, it won't crank, it won't run, unless you bring some magic with you. And I said, well, I still want to come look at it anyway. So I went all the way up there. That's about a 3-hour drive from here. I got up there, and the man had his wife's SUV pulled up to the front of it with jumper cables on the battery, charging the battery, letting the SUV run. And so he jumped in it, and it wasn't enough juice to turn it over. And so I said, well, all right, well, we'll just look at it. So I went to looking at it and got up under it and looked underneath of it and looked at it pretty good for about 10 or 15 minutes. And he got back in there, and that thing cranked right up. That man got out smiling and said, that's the first time that thing's cranked in over 2 years. I've been working on it off and on for 2 years trying to crank it. You did bring some magic with you. And when he said that, I said, oh, Lordy, this truck's got to be mine. It ain't cranked in 2 years. It's got to be mine.
Let me break you in.
Okay.
We hope this fella was telling the truth. we really don't know if this fella was telling the truth or not. So, fella, if you sold my daddy this truck and you were fibbing, well, that's on you. But the old man was happy that it cranked and heard it run. What else was it doing?
Well, it didn't run but a minute or two. He got out and it cut off. And I said, well, that's all right. I done heard it run. I want to check the oil and all. So I took the oil out, dipstick, and the oil was black. It wasn't no water in it.
We do check the oil.
Yeah, the oil was full, a little bit above full actually. And it smelled like not burnt, raw 10-year-old gas, what it smelled like in the oil.
So a little bit of gas.
On my hand. I smelled it before I put it in. Whoa,
a little bit of gas in the oil.
So I figured out getting gas in the oil somehow. So I didn't tell him that, but anyway.
Went on and paid for it. We ain't going to tell him what you paid for it, but it was a good price.
I got him down a little bit and got a good price on it, and or at least I thought it was. And I brought it home. And, well, the next day when I went to pick it up, it cranked right up, and I pulled it. He had it in the backyard, and I pulled it to the front yard toward my tow dolly, and that thing cut off. And by that time, it was smoking like a freight train. But the oil...
It was smoking like what?
A freight train.
It was putting it out, though.
But it was putting it out.
I mean, it was chain smoking.
If there was any mosquitoes...
3 packs a day at least, right?
Yeah, it was smoking. And it wouldn't never crank again. And I had to put a Cumberland on it and winch it up on my trailer. Got it home. Kind of mad, disappointed. Because it was smoking so bad, but still didn't have no water and oil. So I said, my goodness, but that smoke stunk. It didn't smell like burnt water, but it was stinking. So I got it over here, finally figured out that I'd been trying to crank it. I pulled out my dipstick and it looked like the dipstick was getting higher and higher and higher with oil. So I knew I was getting a lot of gas through there, and I said, the only way that gas can get in there is through the ejectors. So one day I took number 5 plug out and it was soaked with gas. And I said, well, no wonder this thing won't crank. So now I've hooked up electric fuel pump. I got away from that nasty gas in the tank. And I hooked up my snapper lawnmower tank. And it cranked, run good for a minute and cut off again. And then it never would crank again. The plugs are so saturated with oil. So I drained my oil.
Saturated with gas.
With gas. Yeah, it was flooding itself because I got 4 ejectors that must be hung open. Now, I'm not good on ejectors, but I believe the ejector is supposed to stay closed when it's just sitting there or with no electricity going to them. So
you can turn it.
You can turn it on.
Yeah,
not that. Just turn my fuel pump on and let pump. I took my return line off, put it in a 5-gallon bucket. And I turned it on and I emptied my 2-gallon gas tank out of my snapper gas tank. And none of that went into the return.
So it is directly pumping. When you turn the ignition on or when you turn the fuel pump on, it automatically is just flooding the engine with gas. So it is not doing it when it's powered to do it. Of course, they come on when they're powered. This one is just dumping gas in the oil. We may try to crank it just for kicks and giggles, but we don't want to put a lot of, we no oil in it now, so we're going to put oil in it. We're going to see if it'll crank and just see what it'll do. A little bit won't hurt it, and then we're going to replace the injectors, right?
Yeah, I bought a set of ejectors, and so we're going to try that. If we can stop that overflow of gas going into them. You want to show them the plugs that come out of this thing? I say they're the original plugs. Boy, they are black and If you can see how bad them things is burning up.
They've been running richer than Bill Gates.
That gap is about 3 times what it should be.
They're trying to make it burn that gas.
And it was,
So he has made a long story, and but that's where we're at. So we know what we've got to do. So what I'm going to do now is you probably have already, since the old man was talking, I'm already probably putting in clips of the rest of the truck. So we're gonna show you all of that. Not a bad truck, so if we can get the motor running pretty good, I think we'll be all right. All right, now I think for demonstration purposes, we're gonna put a battery to it. The old man has got some old wires that came off of the truck he sold me for JC, and came off Tradition. So we're going to get that wire hooked up to it. We still don't have oil in the engine, but we're going to turn the pump on with fuel, right? Is that what we're saying? Turn pump on and see if the plug is wet?
Yeah.
So we're going to see if it's wet. We're 100% positive that it will be. Then we'll probably, well, let's just drop oil in it and go on and get the oil and everything plugged up and then crank it up, because we may only have one shot to crank it before we do, you know.
Yeah, because if you flood it too much, it ain't going to crank today.
So that's going to be the plan. We have just, while on air, we have changed. It's cold in Georgia. If y'all see my breath, it's been pretty chilly. So the old man's getting that wire plugged up. We're going to drain. He put Marvel Mystery Oil in it because it washed the cylinder walls down. So Marvel Mystery Oil has been sitting in it. So we're assured that it is going to smoke if it cranks. But the first thing we're going to do is drain whatever may be. If it's just Marvel Mystery Oil, it's not that bad, but let's still drain it and make sure there's nothing else in it. And then we'll drop some oil in it, and we'll come back after we get oil in it, and we'll see if one of our first starts will start, and then we'll go backwards. Normally, it doesn't work that way. Normally, we're working like a Dickens to make it crank. This time, we're going to make it crank, and then we're going to work like a Dickens to make it run like it's supposed to. So we'll see you in a second. All right, y'all, here's up underneath of the truck.
Oh, I do have a leaky freeze plug.
Oh, that's perfect. You got a leaky freeze plug too. But really, if we look at the old transmission, she's a little dirty, but I can promise you, we have seen a lot worse. So old man's gonna drain, oh, you just hit it, gonna drain whatever was left in it. Have you changed the filter?
Not yet.
You've never changed the filter?
I gotta take the filter off. I know it's full of gas.
Nothing ran out. Well, that's good. That maybe that means the rings are holding the, which I would have never thought, but maybe the rings are holding enough.
So I tighten this up. And also we may have to put a starter on it.
Well,
it started for a while, and then the last time I was out here, that thing wouldn't do nothing. Whine! I don't know why that thing.
Y'all ain't never heard that sound, have you?
That thing wasn't kicking in for some reason.
This old dirt dauber here. Woo, woo, that's a clogger dauber. Everything looks, oh man, they stacking dimes right there, y'all. Look at that. That's what a dirt dauber would do. 1, 2, 3, that's 4, side by side by side. Been sitting a while if it's got that on it, but not really. I mean, it ain't perfect, but I mean, the engine don't look bad from the outside, but we ain't worried about the outside. We're worried about the inside. Old man's putting in another frame. Y'all forgive him. Yeah, I said, don't put them cheap ones in there. He said, it ain't gonna be in there long. So the best thing about this is they put that little grip on the side. That's about it. You got it off, old man?
Yeah, bro. Being careful.
All right, there's a new one. See it?
Screwing.
See the new one?
Yep.
All right.
Now see if anything will pull out of that one.
All right, y'all, here's the other frame. Oh, the old man don't play around. Where'd you get that plastic from?
Off of diesel oil that they keep in them about 3-gallon bucket
the exhaust fluid stuff
Yeah.
that they put. I don't even know what it's called. Y'all diesel drivers know. But the old man says it fits on that cheap motor oil from Walmart.
It fits this motor oil thing good.
So
Don't need a funnel, but I'm gonna use it.
Look at there. That old man has got it figured out. It's gonna take 3 days and 4 months for it to come out with that thing, but need to poke a hole in the bottom, old man.
It's coming, look at it.
Oh yeah, it's coming all right. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all. We'll see y'all next week. And when we get the oil in here, we got 5 gallons, so we're gonna drop it in. And after we get off, 5 quarts, 5 gallons. 5 gallons would be with the fuel. So we're gonna drop that in, and after we get it done, we'll come back and check it and make sure it's good oil on the stick. And then we're gonna crank her up and let her run for a second. Then we're gonna get all these injectors out. What you doing?
I'm gonna drain it back in here. That thing ain't draining. Air ain't getting in it quick enough.
Yep, it was a good idea until it wasn't. Found a better idea. Just pour it like you're supposed to. All right, y'all. We're checking this dipstick. It's only about 7 feet long. Yeah, y'all can't tell that, maybe, but it's halfway up to half the fill line, which is good. I mean, the old man didn't put the best oil in it. He put the cheapest oil because it ain't gonna stay in there long, is it, old man?
Nope. And then we're gonna dump some in it.
We're gonna dump some gas in it probably, but we don't know how bad. All right, so now the plan is to get him a little bit of gas. So of course, look at his contraption down here, and he's got it figured out. He's got his fuel tank. He's got electronic fuel pump. Then he has a fuel filter, and it's going in to the filter coming off of the truck, right?
Yeah, that's a new filter going to the truck.
This is a new filter. Oh, this is a new fuel
filter.
The one that was originally on the truck?
No, that's a new one I put on it.
Okay, so the one that's down on the ground, it's just in where it holds it. So we got a filter, and now it's going to go up to the fuel line. And so when we hook this up,
is the old filter.
Okay.
And it's clean. I can blow through it.
So the old man's gonna hook him a battery up here. He's gonna hook him a battery up back there. And we're gonna be ready to turn the key just as soon as the fuel pump pumps. We're gonna turn the key on, and hopefully the truck will run.
We can turn it on.
Huh?
We're gonna turn the key before we can turn the filter on. If it'll turn over.
Oh,
if
yeah.
The motor turn over, then we hit the juice to it. That way we ain't flooding it.
Yeah, I forgot that the starter may not start. So we're gonna do that first. And then we may put a doggone starter on it before we do anything else.
I don't know what happened to the starter. The starter looks new.
Have you done the hammer rebuild?
Yeah, I tapped on it, but it still didn't kick in.
So the Bendix is just spinning. Well, let's hear it. The dinger still works. Ah. Woo. It started to turn it. Let me get up under there with a hammer. I'm gonna hammer on it a minute, and we'll see if we can get the starter to work, or otherwise we're gonna go on and replace the starter. Hit it. Woo, I hope you don't have a... All right, y'all, we're putting a new starter on it. Man. All right, y'all, the old man's handing me the new starter.
It says 100% new.
100% new, professionally rebuilt from old stock.
Lifetime, and this don't take that wire off. It doesn't have a wire to hook that to.
Yeah, it had a wire, but it also had a... Yep, this one's got a little plug-in thing. So what we're gonna do is have to take that off, that plug-in thing.
Mine's on the back side right there, is it?
Well, we've got to take some stuff off of this one and put it on this one. Right, y'all, new starter installed. Old man, go hit it and see if it'll start. You got the battery hooked up?
You got all the wires hooked up.
Oh, everything's hooked up. It don't work. Something else is wrong. Man, that thing wanted to start. Oh man, what tastes better than it smells? Your tongue.
My tongue.
Think about it now. What tastes better than it smells? Your tongue. What has 4 wheels and flies? A garbage truck.
A garbage. It flies showed up.
All right, y'all. So we oh man, you want to try to? You said you want to crank it without putting gas in it. Maybe it's got enough in there to see it.
Do it again.
And then we'll, cause it act like it wanted to crank then, but then we'll turn the fuel pump on and really see if we can make it run. That it?
That's it.
No more fuel. So now we're going to drop fuel in it. Turn the fuel pump on. You got another battery there?
I got the battery right here.
All right,
But
so
you're gonna have to be over here because I don't want to plug it up now and let it flood it before I get in it.
so you want me to? All right.
Take the battery off. You want me to set it up here where you can get to it easier?
Yeah, yeah. So you hook the positive up, and I'll hit it with the ground. You have them in the right lead. It'll pump backwards. It'll suck it out of the tank. Otherwise.
Look at this.
All right, I'm ready. Get on in and tell me when you're ready for the fuel pump to turn on, and I'll hit the fuel pump.
Let the motor turn over.
Oh no, we're gonna let it prime, ain't we? No, they ain't no.
I got another filter there. You can see gas going in. Or
All right, well you get in it. All right, y'all. Will she run for the first time in this video, really? And will she smoke like a Sif? We smoke like a freight train. Let's see. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hit it, old man. All right, she's bumping. Oh, she's running nicely, all right. I can't get the thing to... I got all on my finger, old man. She's running good. Lord, look at that smoke. What's he smoking up underneath the truck for?
I'm completely gone.
Shut it off. What? No, keep it running. Keep it running. Oh. All right, I'm going to do it again. Keep it running and let it run all the gas out of it.
And that won't crank. It won't do nothing now.
What in the heavens?
Look at the batteries low.
Hit it.
Ain't doing nothing.
There we go.
Never mind, it moved out of report.
Oh. All right, let it run till all the gas runs out. Shut your door. Hit it. Y'all, the plan is now, after we know it'll run and run halfway decent, I think you got 4 injectors that were running wide open all the time. So it was loading it up with gas. We're still going to say that, right, old man?
Well, we can prove it by hooking the gas tank back up and sucking it in without it running for just 10 seconds, 5 seconds, and take out number 5 plug, and if it's soaked, it should be dry. It should be dry, but if it's soaked, that means that number 5 ejector is still hung open.
Well, I'd say let's just assume that's the case since you've already proven that.
I done proved that Got 2 and 3 on that side, 5 and 8 on this side. It's soaking wet.
So we got a lot that we got to do. So
when it don't crank. Now we sit here with a fuel pump on it. Just a minute, it won't crank because it's flooded.
Yeah, well, we don't want to test that because then we'd put a lot more gas, wash down those cylinder walls. So y'all, we're going to commence to replacing the fuel injector on this 5.0. Tell y'all how I'm going to do it. Of course, take this bolt off, take these off, get all this out of the way. And then basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to unhook this, set it over to the side. We'll take the throttle body off, everything.
The whole thing off.
With that, yeah, we'll take this off here, take these two and lead them over to the side. All we want to do is get to the plenum so we can get the plenum off and get to the fuel rail. After we get to the fuel rail area and get the plenum off and get access to both sides of the fuel rail down here, then we will unhook all of the injectors electrically, and then we'll just pry each injector off while it's on the fuel rail, and we'll pull whole fuel rail with all 8 injectors out at the same time, and then we will we'll look at the injectors and replace them with our. All right, y'all, let me tell you what we're going to replace them with. We're going to replace them. Where'd you say they were built in?
Japan.
Oh, Japanese.
No, Chinese.
China. Okay. Chinese. We apologize to Japanese. We got some Chinese knockoffs from Amazon. How much we pay for them?
$72.
$72. All 8 of them. Should have been about 4 or 5 times that much if we'd got good ones. But we don't know if it's a good truck or not. Sounded like it. We ain't ever. You put it in gear and driven it.
I drove it out of the backyard, and it started smoking so bad, and I cut it off. And then it never would crank again because it was flooded, I thought.
So we're going to replace some of these Chinese, apologize again to Japan, these Chinese knockoffs, and we're going to see if these fuel injectors will work. Here's what we're getting. The old man said he checked it by saying the box is kind of heavy. This is a Most Plus. It says made in China. Here's what it is. It is the one. Well, we ain't took the bottom out. That's the top. That'd be the bottom. Yeah. When we take this little plastic off, I wonder if it's the kind that's got the 4 holes or if it's got the 1 hole. But either way, these are the 8 that's gonna go back in it. And all right, y'all. First thing we're gonna do is take off a bolt here and a bolt here, and that gets this off. All right, y'all, where and if all possible, what I like to do is where I don't lose. That's one thing about this pit that we really enjoy is we can get up underneath the truck and do what we need to. But something that I can promise you that I do not enjoy is dropping little small bolts like this. And if you drop it, I mean, they're gone. I mean, you may find them, but you'll forget what they went for. So what I do is when I take stuff off, I try to put the screws back where they go. So now what we do, we get access to this. Of course, the throttle linkage here just pops off. Just pops off. Lee, I broke that. It just pops off right there, and I broke that right there. Oh, going. All right, y'all, I confess to the old man that I broke that little plastic piece, but it ain't hurting anything right now. All right. So that's what I should have had is when I got my screwdriver. That pops right off. So now you've got 1, 2 bolts here, and then we can lay the throttle linkage over to the side. So I got to get those 2, what are those? 9/16 1/2-inch bolts. Take that off, slap it over to the side. Then we'll start working. On getting these 2 off, and get those off and out of the way. We're just gonna keep diving in until we get to where we need to get the fuel injectors out. All right, y'all, you get both of those bolts out. Of course, now this just can lay over to the side anywhere over here. But once again, it's not gonna hurt anything. I just go on and thread my bolts right back in. Somebody says, well, you know right where they go. Yeah, that's right. These are a little bit shorter. These are a little bit longer. Just put them back where you got them, and you won't have to worry about where they come from. So now, take these 2 off, get the breather assembly, get all it, your tunnel ram, get all that out of the way, and then we'll start in this area, getting all of this throttle body, getting all of it off, and then we can dive into the plenum. All right, y'all, we've got these 2 loose here. got a lot of sun. But I'm telling y'all what, I like this fella. Cause if you ain't got baling wire, but you do have what are them, some old zip ties, look down in there. Yeah, they lost them 4 screws. They said, I ain't worried about no screws. I ain't gonna get into that thing anyway. You ain't got to worry about when you go to get your oil changed and them fellas asking you, hey, you want to get your filter? they gotta dig in to get the filter out of this. So we're gonna go on and snip these. All right, get these 2 off. Woo, daddy. Y'all look at this.
We didn't live on a dirt road, but it looked like, ooh,
good Lord.
That's oil. That ain't a good sign, is it?
That is not a good sign.
So how does it suck oil out? Is it blowing it back this way? Is this supposed to suck through here?
It is covered in oil. I'd say you need to call Mama and tell her you need another one of them. All right, y'all, we're gonna try to crank it up one more time. All right, hit it, Charlie Brown. You're not, forget it, he's always hitting that gas pedal. Come here, come here.
It's never ever been, it's brittle.
That's the filter piece that goes right there. Yeah.
Supposed to catch the oil.
It did a good job.
I think it got clogged and it sucked it out.
Look at that now, y'all. I mean, that is, woo! I think it's oiling all right. You getting oil on?
There's the other half of it.
You getting oil on the top side and the bottom side? And
we gotta call Mama.
Yeah, well, I'd wait, let her get there and give her a minute or two. I'm gonna tell y'all what, we had to go MC on that. Y'all know what MC is? When you're working on something like this and it's so tight you have to go MC, that's hammer time. That's what I had to do. So we got this dropped off. We get these 2 1/2-inch bolts off. Then this can sit over. Of course, we can unplug it, put it anywhere we need to. After we get that done, since I'm here, I want to go on and get these 2 1/2-inch bolts off. Remember, always, let me get you down here. Remember this one, when you're taking the plenum off, you've got a nut. Of course, then you've got, after you take the nut off, then you can get your ground wire off, and then you've got another bolt behind it. We'll get this brace off this side of the plenum. And then after that, only thing that's hooking the plenum up are these 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 5 bolts. One's a 40 star bolt. You got one of them?
We'll see.
We'll see. Yo, I think his engine has had it some goody. I don't know if that's gotta just be the gas, but look at that. Oil and gas. I mean, it's got boogers coming out of its nose. Look at that, Daddy. We're gonna have to clean that plenum. Look at the bottom one is wet. All right, y'all, we've got it this far. So now we've got to start just pulling all of these vacuum lines off here. They come off pretty easy. You got one that goes to the brake booster that's got those the clamp that's from Satan, and you got to pinch it and get it off. So we got to get all that off. Then we got a fuel pressure regulator that is bad. I don't even know if we're going to take the plenum off. We might as well. We're here. But I think this is where the fuel go. Look here. Cut it off. It is pumping, boy, it's pumping gas. It's pumping gas straight through that rascal. I mean, when I say a stream, it's pumping through there.
And where's that coming from?
It's coming from the fuel pressure.
Coming out of that little bitty hose?
Yeah, that's supposed to be sucking in vacuum to regulate it. So it's coming through that.
Which one of them is coming through?
Right there.
That top one?
Yeah. All right, y'all. So that is probably our issue. I'm going to ask the old man if he wants to go on and put the fuel injectors in, or if we just want to do that. We got them.
You can't crank it until we put all that back on, can we?
No, it won't work. We got to probably clean that plenum anyway. I don't think that's going. I don't think that's all of our problems, but that's one of them for sure. That's probably the biggest one. So when we hopefully find and get that piece, I guess we can try. Well, we'll see y'all when we make our decision. All right, y'all, I'm doing a plank on a 92 Ford F150. I'm trying to get this off. There's probably an easier way of doing it than the way that I'm doing it, but I'm gonna do it the hard way. Just an Allen wrench. I've already got one bolted out. I got 2 more to get out. After we get those out, we'll take this off. Hopefully we'll replace it, and that may be all we have to do, and not go any further. That's what we're gonna try. That's where it's at. And it's a booger bear to get to. I may go get some pliers, old man, and see if we can, I don't know. I'm gonna get it with this. All right, y'all, these RevStoration boys, we don't like waiting on parts. So we hadn't driven, old man hadn't even driven this. Now tell them what you did to it. You fixed the whole front end, right? Sway bar?
The front end parts on it, yeah.
It was all, y'all remember, right? I would show you a clip, but old man was just putting it in the ditch. I mean, every time he'd turn a corner, he'd end up in the ditch. So he replaced all the loose stuff on the front end. Most of the plays out of it. See if she'll crank up. He said it ain't cranked it up in over a month.
And I left the battery.
That's a Ford there. Some gas up to that carburetor. Come on, baby. Ah, listen at her. She cold. That's why you had that spritz in the top. Radiator's holding. Let's go boogie. Back it up. See if you can hit it down the road. Yeah. Somebody said this thing's running on 6 cylinders or maybe 7, but I like it. All right, old man, let's see what she's got. Whoa, don't put her in the ditch. Brakes are working.
Yeah, brakes are working. Hope I put enough gas in it. Oh, Mama's already home. Yeah.
Scared.
Yeah.
We'll come back and get it.
Are you okay?
Mama scared us both to death. We didn't know she'd already made it home.
See ya.
Oh, yeah. Brake lights work. Got the old Chevrolet over there. You can run the corner. Put this one on the road, I think. Temperature gauge coming up?
The what?
Temperature gauge.
I don't know. I don't see it. Let's see where it is.
Temperature gauge is over. No, temperature gauge is here. It ain't moving.
It ain't moved yet.
Empty ain't moving. Temperature gauge ain't moving. Woo! Well, we got some work to do now, but I would say that the 63 Ford Fairlane is working really, really well. I mean, she's rode. Oh, what was that? She's
Something. Oh, that was that stump.
Old man done hit the stump. We got a 63 Fairlane can drive you to church, old man. Sounds good too.
Let's see if it'll crank back.
That's how a Ford's supposed to do it.
A little better.
I'd say we can still get about 30 miles out of that.
We can turn this thing around this way, can't we?
Yeah, and put the goodie on that side.
Put the good on that side.
Man, you got that right. Old man's gonna do his table test.
I'm gonna test it.
Oh, lip test it.
Ooh, can't blow. Ooh, that thing must be right.
Yes. So we'll get that put on here in a second.
Listen, you can really hear it coming out of that one.
Yep. So it's broke. We know it for sure. So we got one that'll work. We're gonna get it on here in just a second. And
if no gas, we turn the fuel pump on. If no gas goes out,
we're putting it all back together.
We're gonna put it back together and not take that thing off.
Sound like a good idea to me.
I don't know if the truck's worth it now or not with all this. We'll have to wait and see what the truck's worth.
All right, y'all, it's back on. Old man's gonna turn the fuel pump on, and we're hoping we don't have gas squirting out of the top of that.
You ready?
Yep.
Here it goes. Not.
Hold on. Let it build pressure. Should hear it cut off, like where it makes a different noise. All right.
Ain't nothing coming out of the return line yet.
Well, it ain't coming out of the top of this. So it's got to be. Got to be good. I told y'all about putting your bolts and everything back where you know where they are. I was unhooking this one, and so I could put the throttle body or throttle linkage back on, and when I did, it fell down in there. I mean, it was gone for like 20 minutes. It disappeared. Then the old man found it with my with a flashlight, and then we got my magnet. The magnet wouldn't get it out because it was hung up, so we had to get a screwdriver. It took us good 20 minutes. That's what happens when you're working on old Fords. You know, all it is a little simple part, and we trying to rebuild the engine. All right, y'all, we tried to break up all of that carbon or dinosaurs or
What are you talking about? All that junk.
oil, bad oil. So vacuum it up and get it out of there, old man. Looks like a new one, old man. What it is? That's what it.
That used to be that. Can you believe that? You can see the layers.
Yep. Old man, where in the world do you find Friday before Thursday?
I don't know.
In the dictionary.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. All right, y'all. Old man's gonna crank it up. Hopefully, she's not gonna be flooding gas anymore. Listen to that thing running like a doggone. Idling down, old man.
Ain't smoking either.
It is smoking a little bit, but not bad.
Ain't no gas coming out the bypass.
Well,
I mean the what would you call it, the return line.
she's rocking a little bit. She probably needs some,
What am I saying?
what's
Must
that?
have a cam in it.
It must have a cam in it. There ain't no doubt. It must have a cam in it. That's gonna be one of our t-shirts, y'all. Give her a little gas. Oh boy. What'd you do? You gave her a little gas and she boogered down. Or did you cut it off?
It cut off.
All right, well get in it and give her a little gas. Uh-oh. He wasn't doing that before.
Think your fuel pump's enough pressure?
This 3.8, no, it's 10 millimeter. Man, I'm surprised I ain't lost it. Oh, 10 millimeter. Them jokers get lost in a minute. All right, so we're going to get this done, and then this will be everything up under the truck, right?
Yep. Everything should be ready to crank again. Oh, except putting the fuses in.
Yep. Making the fuel pump. Oh, I'm getting old, y'all. Making the fuel pump work. All right, y'all. Got fuses put back in the right spot. Relay put back in the right spot. I turned the ignition to the on position. Old man heard the pump kick in. So we know the fuel pump in the tank is working as it should. We pray that now it's going to build up the right amount of pressure to the engine that this small pump with the fuel regulator was not able to do. So now that it is actually regulating and we are going to have enough pressure, hopefully the engine will not only run at idle, but it'll rev up too. So that's our plan and our prayer. So everything's ready, old man. So get on in there and crank her up and see if she'll work.
Uh-oh.
Crank cut off immediately. Give her some gas. That's better. Give it gas. Rev it up. Probably getting all the air and everything out.
You're gonna have to be burning some off that bumper that gets hot.
Oh yeah.
But you still got the catalytic converter on it. But that long bumper, that round bumper, rusted out on both sides.
He's idling a whole lot better now. Well, is she?
I'm having to give it a blue gas.
Let it all the way off. I can adjust the idle under the throttle.
That's all the way off.
I mean, oh man, I'd run some Berrimans through that and I'd call it good. Look at it, Joe. It ain't smoking or nothing.
Let's see how much we get through here. It was smoking earlier. Look at that. It ain't smoking through there.
That's good, old man. Right?
For me, it is. Put that thing together. Don't look at it no more.
Let's put some zip ties on it and call it good.
We gotta get us some screws to go down in there or something. I wonder if they stripped them out or lost them out.
I don't know. All right, I'll close it up. Woo. Sounds good, y'all. Backing up.
Got some power. Put that thing reversed. It might just walk tires. Walk backwards in.
Had all that stored up, power. Nope, none of yours.
My new ones. This is $10. What did we tow up on that though?
I don't know. Y'all, we got a name for this old truck. We're gonna call it the Tomahawk. It's the right color and got a Tomahawk on the front. Old Tomahawk F150, baby. Truck's running like it wants to go home somewhere. I mean, she's smoking a little bit, but good Lord, you got to give her a little bit of peace. Drop that 5.0 and see what'll happen. Drop the foot feed. Oh, you're dropping in reverse. There we go. Brakes work. Huh?
Go. Get this done. You ready?
Kick it.
Looks like it's slipping. The tires are turned over. Tires turned over.
Oh, it just caught. It's slipping.
Let's stop again. See if it can change.
Get out.
Coming up out here.
Hold on.
Where you going?
Squall tires on it. I want to see what it'll do. Transmission didn't act like a... Is it slipping?
I don't know. Let's go.
Slip in first gear. Get it. Is it? Seems like she's slipping. Seems like she's slipping a little bit in first gear. Seems like first.
We're going to have to tell them to get it on paved road.
First might be slipping.
Well, that was drive, but I mean, it's dropping in.
Seems like it's slipping right there. Seems like first might be slipping a little bit, but we don't know. It's still slipping.
Feels like it's got a little bit of a skip.
Could be that too.
I don't think the motor's revving up normally if it's slipping, the motor will rev up.
It is.
The motor ain't revving up, Bo.
Well, there's no throttle.
There's no RPM. I was looking at the mileage.
Old man was looking at the mileage thinking it was RPM.
Ain't no RPM on this thing.
Yeah, you don't have a tachometer. That's slipping.
It goes in the gear up.
No, it shouldn't do that.
It should slip in the gear.
Not into that. I mean, it's slipping and then it's popping into gear. That's slipping right there.
Then it catches in second gear.
You want to rebuild a transmission on the channel? We ain't got a table clean enough to work on the transmission. All right, y'all, she's smoking a little bit, and the old man told me he wanted me to drive it. So I'm gonna get it out on the main road where if anybody gets a ticket, it's gonna be me. He knows.
Ain't even got the title to it.
That $50 I make off this video to go toward paying that ticket though. Revving up real high before it's slipping. I'd say it's slipping.
Then this gear goes. Give it a little gas. Once it goes, give it a little bit of gas.
Yeah.
There to go on up there. I think this gear is all right.
We don't know. We're not 100% positive what is causing the slippage, or what we think is slippage. So, don't know. No. Well, all right, y'all. Here's me and the old man. We most certainly have got this 1992 Ford F150 back on the road. She doesn't smoke nearly as bad as she used to. The old man is finkering and fooling, trying to get him a fuel gauge working. Same thing I got going on with Tradition. I can't get the fuel gauge to work now. I believe there's I don't know what it is. Maybe a bad gauge. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna figure it out. But the old man, we've got this one running. Thank goodness we didn't have to dig all the way into the fuel injectors. All it was the fuel relay switch. But thank goodness it didn't trick us too long. We got it all back together. First time we've been able to run this truck in a bunch of years up and down the road. The old man bought it. We played around with it. The outside of it probably would come around. It's kind of a pinkish color now. A little bit of work on the outside. I think we can get it looking okay. The interior doesn't look bad at all. But got a little bit of slippage, and we don't know if that's transmission or wore out engine or what. But hey, we got an old truck. We got her running. Hadn't been on the road, and well, she hadn't been running this 30-year-old truck. So I'm saying it's doing all right, don't you, old man? Yeah. Isn't that crazy? 1992 was 30 years ago. Good Lord, we're getting old. Yep. Well, y'all, we love y'all. Hopefully y'all have enjoyed this episode. Me and the old man's had a good time working together. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all so very much for watching. If you're not subbed, hey, it's free. Hey, why about knocking one of them out? We appreciate y'all watching. We've missed y'all. We're happy to see y'all this time. We love you. We thank you. And we always have no way of closing out any of these videos and saying deuces. May God bless. Hey, we want to thank y'all again for watching this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you can do so by clicking this button down below, or you can watch a video that may be suited for you or a recent upload here down below. So once again, we thank you for watching. Deuces. May God bless.